Welcome back to day 2 of Open the Paths 2026. Thank you so much for convening back with us, both on Zoom and in person today. We have a lot of really big questions that came up yesterday, and I'm excited to have a cohort of really experienced stewardship folks to talk to us today about how we might take this asset that we created in the state of Washington and move it forward into stewardship and sustainability. And we're going to be talking about some really vexing questions today. I don't think anyone has the answer necessarily, but I think one thing that is really clear is that it will take a village, and hopefully you're all here because you're excited to be part of that village of sustaining data assets that promote non-drivers, active transporters, and people with disabilities in supporting their everyday travel needs. So yesterday we had a really inspiring talk by Amos Miller, who gave us a little bit of a vision of a future that actually exposes this and other data layers that inform the daily travel of people who require that information for their everyday use. Today, we're going to be talking about that part of the stewardship loop that remains undetermined or unsolved. And this is something that is widely recognized as a problem. It's certainly not a Washington State problem. If anything, we're doing more and better than other places. So I want to start out by acknowledging that. But at the same time, as we are engaging community, engaging folks who might be the maintainers, sustainers of these data, we have to remember, that when talking to planners, we find that there's a lot of gateways in their administrative processes that remain unresolved in terms of how to get these data to maintenance and updates on a regular basis. And so in talking to, I believe here represented are 38 different planners, talking about stewardship and accountability for the whole data lifecycle of a data set like the OS Connect data set, we see that there are folks who are clearly on the path for collection, for validation, and publication of that data, but oftentimes the part that's missing is what is the approval process? How do we get the right signatures? How do we get the updates to happen on a regular basis? And who is really going to be responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, or any part of those processes. And so a lot of the conversation that we're going to be taking on today is trying to understand how in Washington State we can get this kind of pipeline or workflow to be actually adopted as opposed to a one-off, which is where we are today. So in trying to have you all come to my shared vision of this, we're trying to create this transportation data exchange. We've envisioned this as a platform that allows us to really center the travelers in the middle of it, but provide this middle layer that offers the opportunity for open data sharing across different modes, across different providers, across different agencies, so that everybody can be sharing this data. One of the biggest issues that we're facing with this data, and as well as other areas where low information has existed, it's that it's low resourced. We don't have a single source to provide us with data just as it has been available for car travel. And so car travel becomes the only mode we know everything, or at least as much as we could about, both in terms of ridership, in terms of who's there, what are they using, what roads are being used, and how much. But we don't have this kind of information collected and shared across all the different partners that support active transporters. And so that's really kind of the vision. And it doesn't have to happen through the TDI necessarily, although that's kind of how we've envisioned a proposal. Consider the TDI a proposal of how a platform can enthuse people about sharing that data and provide the kinds of guardrails and workflows that allow different institutions and agencies to actually participate. We do recognize that a lot of institutional barriers exist out there in terms of, and we talked about that yesterday somewhat, in terms of really subscribing to that shared vision of open shared data that supports non-drivers.